Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Member 365 webinar on forums, mastering data insights for smarter decisions. My name is Carlo McDangle. I'm a customer success coach here in Member 365. I will be your host for this afternoon's webinar. Okay. I may have help onboard your program or have help you on the ticket, so we may have cross path. I believe in the maxim, your success is our success. We believe that these tools, especially forms, will help you manage your membership better because forms are basically questionnaires that will help you build a demographic profile from your members. Okay. A little bit of housekeeping on this webinar this afternoon. We'll be muting everyone, but if you have any questions, please write them down on the Q&A button at the bottom section of your screen in the middle. And then at the tail end of this webinar, we will be entertaining any of your questions or concerns. And everyone will be receiving a copy of this webinar, and we will be recording or stashing this webinar on our YouTube channel, part of our knowledge base section as well. Okay, our agenda, our menu, what types of forms, what are the types of forms available in Member 365? But in this webinar, we will be focusing more on the membership form and how it's different from a directory form. Then we'll be discussing how to create a form, what are the different types of questions, what types of questions can you segment for, and what are the form properties when creating a form. And of course, best practices that we need to think about when creating forms. And last but not least, the question and answer section of this webinar. Okay, let's dive into the program. Okay, forms are basically located under modules and forms. Okay, if you don't see it in here, okay, that means your admin access probably do not permit you to do so. You need to request your fellow admins to give you admin access to the forums by basically going to contacts, view administrators, and just opening your profile, and then they just need to go to permissions, and then under the administration tab they will need to go to the forms section, make sure that these are checked, and click save, and that will give you access to the forms section. Okay, now let's go to the forms section. We go to modules, forms, and then create, and the system will show us the different types of forms available in Member 365. Okay, we'll be concentrating on the membership form. Membership form and directory form are basically almost synonymous, except that the form responses on the directory can be made to appear or to be displayed in the directory profile of a contact. That means contacts that belong to the directory can see the form responses of other people that is part of that directory. Whereas a membership form, you cannot do that. Membership form, it basically resides in the profile of the contact, and only the member can see their own response. They can't see other responses. So that's the main difference. We will be diving more into the directory form, into the directory training, which can happen on future webinars. Okay. The event registration form is another form, a questionnaire, but this time this form can be attached to an event registration. Okay, so say when you have an event and then you want to collect more information from your contacts aside from the basic first name, last name, email address, then you need to create an event registration form and attach it to that event registration setup. Okay, now the contact demographic and organization demographic form is another form, but this form cannot be attached to a membership application or to an event registration, but it resides basically on the profile of a contact in the CRM page. This will be discussed more on the CRM contact training. Okay. Now, the test and random quiz, these are two types of forms that can be used using the learning management course. Okay. So any of you who has a learning management course are familiar with the test and random quiz form. The web submission is a standalone form. Again, it's a questionnaire, but although you cannot attach it to a membership application or an event, but it can be accessed outside of the member portal. Okay, there's a link that you can embed or share via social media, or a link that you can embed in your public site where they can complete that form. Okay, it can be accessed as well in the member portal. Okay, but a feature of the web submission is it can be accessed outside of the member portal. Okay, another types of forms that we have, what we call the surveys and votes form. We've separated them from this page mainly because they're types of forms that are mostly being used by most of our clients. Okay, so just like the web submission form, the surveys and votes form can be accessed outside of the member portal as well. Okay, the difference between surveys and votes is basically on the report themselves. The votes, it will not show you who casted the votes, mainly because it's a vote form. But surveys, you will see who completed the survey. So these three types of forms, the surveys, votes, and web submission, okay, on the reports, you will see who's completed those forms only if they completed the forms inside the member portal, not outside. If they completed the web submission form, surveys, and votes in your public website or outside of the member portal, then the reports will not be able to show who completed those forms. That's just one thing to think about. Okay. And yeah, the surveys and votes, it will be discussed on future webinars, and that will coincide with a web submission form. Okay, so that's the difference between these forms, specifically the membership form and the directory form. Now let's go ahead and create a membership form. Let's click on the create button and it will bring us to this page. How about we call this a volunteer form, membership form, and we'll categorize it under membership. Okay, this is a locking mechanism where it prevents accidental deletion from fellow admins. Okay, let's unlock it. That way I'll show you how it works. Sharing form submissions, if this is enabled, oh, what happened? Let me, if we enable this, okay, notice this tab appears. So when that's enabled, you're basically telling the system you want to share the results of this form to contacts or members belonging to, say, gold membership or group account. Okay. Just check off the membership category that you want to have access to the results of this form, or it can be based on their organization categories, contact demographic, or you can cherry pick a contact that you want to have access to this form. If not, if you want this form responses or the report just limited to admins like yourself, you need to disable this. Okay. And then let's go to Launch Form Editor button. It'll bring us to this setup section where you get to choose what type of questions you want to ask your intended recipients of this form. Text input is basically an open-ended type of response. Just drag the tile into this page. Good example is, say, what is your nickname or what alias do you want us to call you? Click on Setup tab, and this is where you ask the question. Please enter your nickname. Or a good example is just family members. Okay, and we'll use that later on the iterator functionality. Okay, this is where you tell the system, is this a mandatory question that they need to fill up or not? Okay, and on the properties tab, this is where you tell the system, will this question appear on membership application and on the renewal? And do you allow contacts to update the responses in the member portal? We recommend turning this on. That way it'll give them that option to update the response. They don't have to wait until the renewal comes in for them to update the response on this form. Okay. And include this question response on the list builder. List builder is it's a report module in Member 365 where you can tell the system to give you a report based on the results of this question in the form. Then include it as well on the form reports. Track in contact change log if a contact changed the response on this particular question. And then on their profile page, you'll see a tracking log that they at some point changed their response on this question. Okay. So click update once you made those changes and click save questions. Okay. Now, the next one will be a date picker when you want to collect date information, a date of their graduation, date of their certification. A memo text area, it's just like a text input, but it provides a wider field area for your contacts to type on or enter content. A good example of this if you want to collect biography. So it requires a wider field of area for them to enter information. Email address if you're collecting email address values. File if you're requesting them to upload a specific soft copy of their certificate, perhaps, or their license. Now, the next are the question related features of this form, the radio buttons, vertical or horizontal, the checkbox, vertical or horizontal, or the drop down. Okay. The radio buttons and the drop down will only allow your contacts to answer one question or choose one answer from a multiple choice of answers. But if you're allowing them to choose more than one response, then the checkbox will be ideal for that purpose. Okay. The drop down single, it only allows one response as well. Okay. Now let's go ahead and try a radio button type of questions. Let's click setup and ask the questions like, do you want to volunteer? Okay. And possible answer is yes. And then we'll click add answer. Another possible answer is no, add answer. On some questions, you may have a longer list of multiple choice answers like regions or countries. Instead of typing them one by one, click on paste answer and paste them all in here and click go. Then they will all be pasted there instead of typing them one by one. Okay. And then again, properties tell the system if this appears on membership application and on renewal and you want member to update the response. Okay. So we save that question. Okay. Header is something that's ideal. That you can put it on top or in the middle. It's an area where you can provide instructions to your contacts. As an example, I click on setup and then I'll say, please complete this form. And you can put a description as well in there. And click on save header. Okay. You might be wondering, what's this iterator? The best way to explain this iterator is to actually test it. Let me drag it down. Okay. And I'll put family members in between this iterator. Okay. And I'll click setup. I'll say, please enter your family members. Okay. Typos. Okay. And you can put a description. Minimum quantity that they can enter is one, and maximum, I would say, probably seven. And then click Save Questions. And there it is. This is an example of the questionnaire that we can put on a membership form. Okay. Now let's click on Save button and publish it. Okay. Oh, okay. So let's rename this. We'll rename this Volunteer 2 because according to the system, there's already a form called Volunteer. Okay, so let's publish this. And there you go, it's been saved. Now, once it's saved, you'll see it on the forms page. We go to modules, forms, and then manage, and then you'll see it in here. Notice that it has this box, right? The rest, they don't have a box. It means that those that don't have a checkbox, it's locked. But this is unlocked, meaning I can check it and then I can delete it. Okay. Just a note, when you delete a form, all the responses or the reports will be deleted. Okay. So to lock it, we'll just go to opening the form and lock the form and click save. Okay. So when we go to modules, form, and then manage, you'll see there's no way that they can delete it. For your admins to delete it, they will just need to consciously open it and unlock it and save and then go back to that page and delete it. That way they know that they'll know what they're doing. Okay. Because we've had instances where admins reach out to us asking the whereabouts of their form. Where is it? Only to find out it was deleted by a fellow administrator. Again, like I said, Once a form is deleted, so there goes the reports as well. It cannot be recovered. So it's very important to lock the form. Okay. That's one of the best practices, actually. Okay, so we've established that form. Now we need to attach that form to a membership category. So we go to membership and then category setup. Let's go to annual membership. Okay. So once the page completely loads, we go to application form and then scroll down the page. This is where we link a custom form. We click yes and then look for that form, volunteer to. There you go. Okay. And do you want to display the form in the member portal? Absolutely. That way they can access it. Okay. And then we'll click Save Membership button. Okay. Now, how do we test the form? You go to application form link, view application form link, and copy this link. And now we'll test this form. Let me just log out from here. That way the system won't detect that I'm logged in. And here is the form application first page, entering the email address. And we need to enter the first name and last name, okay? And the job title, okay? Telephone number is mandatory. Now, when we click on continue, notice it will bring us to the form, the membership form that we created. Oh, business address is mandatory. Oh, province, so Ontario. We'll click continue and it'll bring us to the form. So here's the iterator that we've created or set up. Please enter your family members. I'll click add one, put the name of my son, a maximum of 7 based on the setup. So that's how the iterator works. You collect information in a repeating fashion, and you can set it up on a minimum and maximum level on how much information that you want to collect for them on a specific attribute, like in this case, their family members. Now, the other form, the radio button, do you want to or do you want to volunteer? I'll click yes. Then I'll click the code of conduct and I'll click continue. And then say check payment, process payment. And there you go. So we've submitted a membership application. Now let's look at the reports of this form or how this the results of this form appears on that profile of that test applicant that we did or conducted. We go to membership statistics, and then it might not have refreshed yet. Let's go to new memberships. Oh, it's not yet in here. It's review pending review, mainly because it's a check payment. Let's look at it probably. Oh, it's this one. Okay. We'll mark it as, we'll just review it. It's just a test contact. So here it is, and contact details of that specific test account. Under membership MMS, that's where we see the response of this form. Do you want to volunteer? It's here. So as an admin, you can update it for them. Say if they contacted you and say, hey, Carl, I don't want to volunteer anymore. So you can go to their profile page and you can update it for them and click no and click save extended field. But they can likewise update it from their member portal. Let's impersonate this contact, click continue, as if we're logging in to their member portal. And when they go to my account, my profile, they will see this annual membership profile tab. This is where they can update it and click no if they don't want to volunteer and save extended field. So that's how they can access the form and update it. Okay. Now, how does the form report look like? Let's go to return to CRM. We go to modules, form, and then form responses. Here it is, volunteer V2. Just click on it, and the system will show you everyone that responded to that form. Click view, and you'll see their responses. Okay, you can export it to Excel. It will show you all their information, including their email address. Okay, and their responses to this question. Okay, and you can even use our list builder. Okay, and specifically targeting that multiple choice type of question. Who answered yes to the volunteer type of question? Let's do that. Let's create a list, okay? And we'll call it volunteer and then who answered yes. I'll share it with other admins. Okay. I'll click continue. And then since it's a membership form, okay, we'll use the membership filter criteria called membership. And then we'll click on membership form question. Let's look at volunteer V2. And we'll look at, do you want a volunteer question? I'll click yes. And the system will show you anyone that click yes to that specific question. Click save list. And so this list auto updates in real time. Anyone that click yes or change their responses to no, it will fall up from this list. Anyone who applies for membership, anyone that's currently under annual membership, went to their member portal and click yes, automatically they're added to this list. And when you go to your list builder, here's the list that we've created. You can click on the envelope icon to send an email campaign to anyone that volunteered, the one that volunteered, that click yes to the volunteer question. Okay, so that's how you create a form. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, what are our best practices? Okay, that we need to observe. Okay, first one is attach the form to a membership, of course. That way, the form, you can tell the system that the form needs to appear on a membership application and on a membership renewal as well. Second is allow members to edit what information is available. If you recall in the properties section, you have to check that box, allowing them to update their responses in that form. That way, they don't need to wait until renewal time to update the responses to that form. Okay. Third one, lock forms. Okay, to prevent accidental deletion. Okay. A fourth best practice is use the form editor effectively. Configure questions properties such as whether a question appears on application or renewal. If members can update responses, and the question is for office use only. We've discussed that on the properties section. Say if it's just for office use only, you can uncheck renewal, you can uncheck application, and then just check for office use only, meaning that specific question is just for the admins to update on the CRM profile of a contact. Okay. And last but not least is test your form. Just like what we did a while ago. Okay. We've tested the form by testing the application process for that membership category where that form is attached. And then go to the reports, go to the profile page of a contact to see if the responses were embedded, the responses appear, and then we can run the reports just to check the veracity of the responses on the form. Okay, so question and answer section. Please write them down on the Q&A section, the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. I see no one has questions. Okay, straightforward webinar, right? Just in case if you have questions down the road, you can always reach out to us on your dashboard. You have your ticketing system, you have chat or Zoom if your Member 365 subscription allows you for those two channels. And I just want to introduce to you, we have what we call a new section called M365 Assistant. It's this button in here on the top, this header. Okay, this is your OpenAI or Chat GPT version in Member 365, where you type the question and the system will do the work of checking in our knowledge base section and video section answers to your questions. Okay, it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But if your question is not addressed, then it will escalate it into a ticket and it will be forwarded to our customer success team. And within 24 to 48 hours, we will be attending to your question. Okay. Thank you so much for making it on this webinar. And we recommend if you can visit our page, member365.com. Below the page, there's a webinar section. You can see future webinars in there where you can register for these valuable webinars that will help you manage your membership. Again, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.